Who's in charge after American forces captured the Venezuelan leader? President Trump said the U.S. will temporarily run the country. The Secretary of State now says otherwise. The latest ahead of tomorrow's court appearance of the Venezuelan president after his capture. Data center drama. Could one be headed to a neighborhood near you? There's a renewed debate brewing in our backyard as the data demand booms. Car crashes into a home. What D.C. police said about those inside the vehicle after gouging a massive hole on the ground level.
And we're tracking seasonable high temperatures to start off the work week before we're tracking a bit of a warm-up. Latest details on those numbers coming up.
And secret subscriptions. How to identify services you signed up for and no longer use. We're stretching your dollar.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Sunday evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. Tonight, questions linger about the United States' involvement in Venezuela after this weekend's surprise capture of their president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife. Yesterday, President Trump said America would be in charge of the Venezuelan government, at least for some time. Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said America would not be in charge of the government, rather continue to block oil trade from happening there. An apparent about-face from the president. As Maduro is slated to face a judge tomorrow on drug trafficking charges. DC News Now's Rashad Hudson reports the latest from Capitol Hill and what may be next for the country without their leader.
No one in the U.S. government is calling Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro a hero, but there are questions about the way in which he was captured and removed from his country. Republicans are largely praising the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who is now in U.S. custody after landing in New York Saturday.
And it's a great day for America and for the people of Venezuela and really the civilized world.
Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton says Maduro's regime helped fuel America's drug crisis.
His drugs had killed hundreds of Arkansans, thousands of Americans.
Democrats, who are just as critical of Maduro, are raising concerns about the legality of the mission.
Maduro is a horrible, horrible person.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says Congress should have been consulted.
It's a violation of the law to do what they did without getting the authorization of Congress.
This was not an action that required congressional approval.
And when asked if this means the U.S. is now at war with Venezuela, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the target remains drug cartels.
We are at war against drug trafficking organizations. It's not a war against Venezuela. And the goal of the policy is to see changes in Venezuela that are beneficial to the United States.
But Democrats say there aren't enough details on how the U.S. will be involved.
I'm very disturbed, and it doesn't appear as though there's really any plan.
And Maduro is expected to appear before a federal judge in New York Monday, where he'll be formally read the criminal charges against him. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
Well, thanks, Rashad. News overnight. Flights in the Caribbean are resuming after yesterday's capture of Maduro. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced that the FAA would allow airlines to kickstart Caribbean flights after being canceled during the strikes, saying, in part, quote, "Airlines are informed and will update their schedules quickly. Please continue to work with your airline if your flight was affected by restrictions." Well, as countless people are dealing with flight cancellations and delays, our Shanika Grimshaw is counting herself among them. She was supposed to fly home to D.C. yesterday, but the no-fly order meant an unexpected, out-of-pocket extra night after a trip to the island nation of Curacao, just north of Venezuela. Earlier today, she told me about the anxiety from fellow passengers, and I also asked her if she was surprised about the flight restrictions right after the capture of Maduro.
Actually shocked.
This was top of mind traveling near Venezuela because I was very aware that Curacao is only, about 30 miles off the coast of Venezuela. So it was, on my mind that, okay, it's possible, but I didn't think it would really happen when I was there.
What's the general feel from other passengers right now?
So people are really on edge, and it's kind of like just an unsafe feeling because the airspace has been just restricted for maybe 24 hours. And it's just really scary knowing that, we could possibly be in the path of a possible war.
I understand it's scary, it's tense right now. What has the experience been like from other people that you may have talked about, those who had delays or their cancellations rather, who had to spend an extra night?
A lot of people were saying, oh, they need to get back to their children. They need to get back to their dog, their homes, everything. And there are some people, by the way, who can't get on flights until the 7th or 8th.
Wow, really?
Yes, yes.
Well, certainly going to be slow and steady for a lot of folks impacted by that. Chief Meteorologist Jackie Lair joining us. She is in for Scott Sumner tonight. Jackie, it is always lovely to have you here on the weekends, and it's going to be lovely later this week for folks who hate the cold, right?
Exactly. Yes, a lot of people are excited about this warm up that we're tracking over the course of the next several days. But out there today, it was nearly seasonable. We had those high temperatures in those lower 40s. We'll see those seasonable high temperatures out there tomorrow before we're tracking that big warm up. A high pressure, it is with us just south of our area. We start to see a bit more of the cloud cover continuing to stick around through the overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. We're likely to see partly to mainly cloudy skies out there tomorrow as well. Current temperatures upper 20s to lower 30s, but these temperatures will continue to drop through the overnight. If you're stepping out right now, again, make sure to bundle up, considering wind chills right now are mainly into those 20s for much of the area. Speaking of those 20s, we'll actually see those overnight lows back in those 20s, and that's what we start off with into early tomorrow morning. So as you're heading out, as you're getting your life back together after the holiday season, we're talking about those temperatures starting off into those 20s tomorrow morning, so bundle up. I know a lot of people are heading back to work and school tomorrow, and we'll actually see those highs right around those low to mid 40s for much of the area for your Monday. Now, like I mentioned, Tuesday, Wednesday, we continue that warming trend, likely those 50s returning as early as Tuesday. We'll get close to 60 on Wednesday. I'll go over more details on that, and we'll get towards the rest of that 7-day coming up.
All right, Jackie, thanks. New tonight, a Virginia State trooper was hurt in a crash after reportedly trying to stop a driver for reckless driving in Alexandria. State police said that a trooper tried to stop a Honda Accord for being recklessly on 495 around 345 off of Eisenhower Avenue. The driver did not stop. During a police chase, the driver went off the Van Dorn Street exit, and the trooper ended up stopping the chase to avoid hitting a car uninvolved, we're told. And as a result, the trooper's cruiser went off the road, hit a tree, and rolled over. The officer was taken to the hospital with minor, non-life-threatening injuries. Meantime, a man was found shot to death inside of a vehicle in Prince George's County. Police say they found the man at Watkins Park Drive near Watkins Regional Park after officers responded to the area for a welfare check around 7 a.m. Police have not released the victim's name, no word on any suspects. And a pedestrian was hit and killed on I-295 in D.C. overnight. Police said that it happened near Exit 1 and Laboratory Road in Southwest right before 8 o'clock. We're also told that Prince George's County officers arrived before MPD. While there's no word on who the victim is, the driver did stay on scene. A vehicle rammed into a northeast D.C. home this morning. You see that gaping hole? Crews said it happened on Eastern Avenue near the Maryland-D.C. line around 9:15 this morning. Police say the folks inside of that vehicle ran off after the crash. The home's foundation was damaged. Good news, no one was reportedly hurt. 3 men were shot and killed outside of a banquet hall in Prince George's County overnight Saturday. Investigators right now are working on how the shooting happened as neighbors are trying to come to terms with what unfolded. Our Dave Laval reports the latest.
Irving's banquet hall behind me remains closed as there's no indication when it will reopen for business following the deadly shootings. Home video captured the scene after police and other first responders arrived in the banquet hall's parking lot. They first got there shortly after 2 a.m. Saturday and found the victims in the parking lot. They died at the scene. Nikki Johnson of nearby Temple Hills is still coming to terms with what happened.
It don't make no sense. 3 people gone, lost their life.
Investigators are sorting out what triggered the shootings.
It was in my neighborhood and I couldn't understand it. But
Sean Golden lives in Marlow Heights. The murders have left him and others stunned.
I've been around here a long time. There's never been a lot of issues. I mean, you have your bad times, but it's normally very safe.
It's pretty good around here.
You're asked to contact Prince George's County Police if you have any information about the shootings. In Marlow Heights, Maryland, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Certainly concerning, serious stuff, Dave. Thank you. A national debate ongoing about the future of AI is ramping up in our backyard. More than half of the world's internet traffic reportedly runs through Fairfax and Loudoun County, Virginia. Well, now developers and interest groups are looking to cash in on those data centers, with that demand only going up. But for some Virginians living nearby, they say the never-ending construction is driving them out of their communities. State lawmakers have since proposed legislation that would place a land buffer between data centers, neighborhoods, and schools. On the move, and good news for Metro riders on the Green Line. 2 weeks of construction between Georgia Avenue, Petworth, and U Street are done. They're in the past. Well, now every other Yellow Line train is also going to Greenbelt. Our Daniel Hamburg spoke to riders about the latest change.
Customers tell me they are excited for this change, not having to transfer trains here at Mount Vernon Square. One train operator tells me there is some congestion in the system today, but that kinks will be worked out. For the first time since 2023, the Yellow Line is going all the way to Greenbelt.
I think it's a great thing. It's very easy to not have to get off the train and transfer to go to the airport, so it's all good. I'm glad it's coming back.
Every other Yellow Line train will serve Greenbelt, with the other half turning around at Mount Vernon Square.
Ever since that new guy took control, he's gotten his ship in order, and this is a premier system now.
Between Mount Vernon Square and Greenbelt, combined service means trains every 4 minutes during peak service and every 6 minutes during off-peak service.
Anything that gets quicker times to and from your destination is a good thing.
Yellow Line trains will run every 6 to 8 minutes between Huntington and Mount Vernon Square, and every 12 to 15 minutes between Mount Vernon Square and Greenbelt.
I'm really excited about it. This is my first time coming back from the holidays, spending time at home, and I live on the Green Line, or I guess the Yellow and Green Line now, and I'm really excited that I can travel from the airport on the Yellow Line all the way back to my stop.
While shorter wait times are noticeable, not everyone is satisfied overall.
Right, how about 26? Okay, I should have recorded those times last night because it was very ridiculous. I've never put up with that before.
So again, it's not just the added frequency that is welcome from most people we talked with, but just the pure convenience for people who only live maybe a stop north of Mount Vernon Square. They no longer have to transfer. In Northwest, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Daniel. Coming up, curious how